I rushed to the hospital, begging them to save my 4-month-old baby. But the doctor told me I was never pregnant. It was our 5th wedding anniversary when I discovered it. My husband, Kyson Lazenberg, was cheating on me. That day, we had agreed to celebrate at the most expensive restaurant in the city. But on the way there, with my 4-month pregnancy, I got into a car accident. Blood poured out of me like a river. When I was rushed to the hospital, I grabbed the doctor's hand and begged him desperately, please save my baby. He's only 4 months old. But the doctor's expression turned grave. Ma'am, there's no child in your womb. Please, you need to calm down. I froze, disbelief crashing over me. My hands trembled as I dialed Kyson's number. The call connected, but before I could say a word, his voice lashed out like a whip. Ever since you got pregnant, you've become unbearably clingy. Can't you learn to be a little more independent? And with that, he hung up. I stared at the phone in shock. No matter how many times I called back, the line didn't go through again. Clenching my jaw against the pain, I forced myself to sit up and sign the surgical consent form. Just before they wheeled me into the operating room, I opened my phone, and my world shattered all over again. On Facebook, I saw 2 photos from the daughter of my husband's mentor. The first was a photo of her hand interlocked with a man's. The second photo was a pregnancy report. Her caption read, "Thank you for coming into my life, and for giving me an angel to protect." The man in that picture was none other than my husband, who had left me just before the crash. As if that wasn't enough, a message from his mistress popped up on the screen. "It's such a shame to give my little angel to you. After all, you're just a woman faking pregnancy. Your husband has always been by my side. Isn't it time you divorce him?" The words cut through me like glass lodged in my throat. My hands trembled as I typed a single message to my father. "Dad, I'm ready to come home, and to destroy the Lazenbergs." If my marriage with Kyson had been a lie from the very beginning, then I would make sure that liar paid the price. 1. Gina's POV. I hadn't even calmed down when a syringe of anesthesia was plunged straight into my vein. Through the haze of drowsiness, I saw Kyson walk in. His face was cold, his gaze sharp as he looked at my half-conscious state. Without the slightest hesitation, he ordered the doctor, arrange for her to have an IUD surgery. When she wakes up, tell her the baby is still there. The doctor frowned deeply at his words. "Sir, your wife has just been in a car accident. I don't know why you're lying to her about being pregnant, but right now, her body absolutely cannot undergo an IUD surgery." On the phone, Kyson's voice remained like ice. "Think about your child. Put away your misplaced sympathy, doctor. Even without a baby, Gina will still be my wife. But my mentor doesn't have time to wait any longer." He paused, then added with cruel clarity, "Mads is already carrying my child. I have to take responsibility for her. Gina must not get pregnant during this time." But, the doctor tried to argue, only to be cut off mercilessly. "No buts. Do as I say." With that, he hung up without the slightest hesitation. The doctor stood rooted to the spot, silent for a long while. Finally, gritting his teeth, he pushed me toward the operating room. The anesthesia began to take full effect, blurring my vision. Just before I slipped into unconsciousness, a memory surged back. Half a year ago, after visiting his gravely ill mentor, Kyson had returned home unusually silent. After my repeated questions, he sighed and finally confessed. "Gina, Mr. Pankey doesn't have much time left. His dying wish is for Mads to have a child." I hadn't even processed what he meant before he spilled everything in one breath. "Mads said she can't find another man, so she came to me. My mentor showed me great kindness back then. I can't refuse him." My face turned pale as the truth sank in. "You want to have a child with Mads? Fine. Then we can divorce." Even though my heart felt like it was being ripped apart, I said it firmly. Alarmed, Kyson quickly tried to explain. "Gina, you misunderstand. It's only through IVF. I won't have a physical relationship with Mads. Mr. Pankey is on his deathbed. His greatest wish is to see her with a child of her own. Can you really bear to let him leave with regret?" I stared at his self-righteous face, exhausted, and closed my eyes. "No, Kyson. I don't agree. Don't you see how absurd this is? If Mads wants a child, she can go through IVF herself, or find another way. Why does it have to be you? We don't even have children of our own, and yet you want to give her one first? I can't accept this. If you insist, then we should divorce." I turned to leave, but he rushed to block me, pulling me tightly into his arms. "No! I don't want us to divorce. I won't have a child with Mads. Gina, I was wrong. Please, don't go." His desperate apologies broke down my defenses, and in the end, I forgave him. Now, lying here, I finally understood, perhaps back then, Kyson had already been testing me. After that, he made a child with Mads behind my back. The thought tore me apart. Tears slipped from the corners of my eyes as the doctor let out a helpless sigh. Then, darkness swallowed me whole. When I woke up, my hand instinctively went to my belly. Under my fingertips was a jagged, uneven scar. The IUD surgery had been done. A strangled sob tore out of my throat. I cried until I was empty, and when I finally calmed, I picked up my phone and no longer hesitated. "Dad," I said hoarsely, "I've decided. I'll return to take over the family company, and I'll find the right person to bear its heir." On the other end, Dad's voice carried a rare smile of satisfaction. "Good. I'll give you 7 days to settle things here. Kyson is not a man worthy of you. Returning to inherit the company is your wisest choice. My daughter, Gina, was never meant to be blinded by love." Remembering everything Kyson had done to me, I gripped the phone so tightly my knuckles turned pale. My voice trembled but was sharp with resolve. "I'll bring all of Lazenberg Corporation's documents back with me. Then, within 6 months, I'll devour it completely." Kyson had lied to me. He had done something unforgivable. Not only could I never forgive him, I also wanted to drag him and Mads straight to hell by myself. On the other end of the line, Dad's praise rang with pride. He even promised that once I returned, all of Crutchfield Company's shares would be transferred under my name. "All right, Dad. I'll see you in 7 days." After saying that, I was about to hang up when a voice suddenly spoke from behind me. "Honey, who are you meeting in 7 days?" 2. Gina's POV. Kyson looked at me with doubt in his eyes, but deep inside, I caught a flicker of panic. I didn't answer him directly. Instead, I asked in a calm voice, "When I was in surgery, where did you go? And why did you sound so irritable when I called you?" My questions made his face instantly darken with guilt. He pulled me into his arms, holding my shoulders as if they were fragile. His voice was choked with emotion. "I'm sorry, honey. Something happened at the company, and I couldn't control my emotions. Please forgive me." He gently took my hand, his eyes brimming with a love that seemed ready to spill over. I never expected you would be in danger. Thank God our child is safe. Otherwise, I would have rather left this world with the both of you. As he spoke, teardrops slid down, landing on me. In the past, my heart would have ached unbearably at the sight. No matter what had happened, I would have forgiven him. But now, I only stared back with a blank expression. Kaisen, I said slowly, do you still remember our prenuptial agreement? He clearly hadn't expected that question. His eyes steadied, and he replied with gentle assurance. Of course, honey, I remember. Don't worry. I would never betray you. You and our child. Neither you nor the child will ever leave me. As he spoke, his hand drifted softly to my belly, his lips curving in a smile. I shifted ever so slightly, avoiding his touch. The pause in his movements told me he noticed. His brows furrowed. Honey, what's wrong? I hadn't even decided how to brush him off when his phone rang. His expression tensed. Without hesitation, he declined the call, but within moments, the phone buzzed again and again. Though he tried to hide it, I caught a clear glimpse of the caller's name, Mads, but I didn't confront him. I only watched him, cold and silent, as he continued his little performance in front of me. The calls kept coming, one after another. In the end, his expression shifted into visible worry. Honey, he said carefully, it might be something urgent at the company. I should check on it. Would that be all right? I nodded, calm and unbothered. In the next instant, he bolted like an arrow loosed from its string. Once his figure disappeared completely, I tidied myself up and followed after him. On the way, I counted, he ran through 10 red lights in his rush to get there. Whatever Mads had said on the phone, it had shaken him completely. When we finally arrived, I watched as he jumped out of the car and hurried straight into an apartment building, moving like he knew the place by heart. I trailed close behind. The next moment, a pair of delicate hands reached out from the open doorway, curling around his neck. Kaisen, finally, you're here. My belly. It hurt so much. Mads' voice dripped with false sweetness. Her red lips smeared kisses all over his face, leaving behind countless marks. Hearing her words, Kaisen panicked. What's wrong? Did Victor act up again? Let me see. At that name, my heart clenched. Victor. That was the very name Kaisen once whispered to me in our most intimate moments, saying he hoped our child would grow up with great ambition. V was the nickname he had chosen.